Welcome to Martial Mastery Media. In today's episode, we're diving deep into the fierce and disciplined world of the Roman Empire's warriors, exploring the martial arts, combat techniques, and weapons that helped forge one of history's most powerful and enduring empires. The Roman soldiers were legendary for their tactical prowess, discipline, and innovation on the battlefield. Today, we'll uncover the secrets behind their success. Be sure to subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, and share this video with your friends and family so you never miss an episode. Section 1. The Roman Military System. Structure and training. The Roman Empire's military was an exceptional force due to its well-defined structure, rigorous training, and its ability to evolve over time. Unlike armies of many other cultures, the Romans did not rely solely on spontaneous courage or the heroics of individual warriors. Instead, their military was organized with almost industrial efficiency, building on centuries of warfare experience. At the heart of the Roman military machine was the Roman legion. These legions were composed of up to 5,000 soldiers, split into centuries, groups of about 80 men, commanded by centurions, and cohorts, typically 480 men. Roman soldiers underwent extensive training in hand-to-hand combat, formation tactics, and weapon mastery, which were critical to their battlefield effectiveness. Every soldier was trained to act as a cohesive part of a larger force, executing precise maneuvers in the heat of battle. A key element of their training was the use of wooden weapons heavier than the real ones, designed to increase the soldiers' stamina and strength. Recruits practiced not only swordplay but also grappling, shield usage, and long-distance marching with full armor, ensuring they were always combat-ready. Training also included military engineering, such as building fortifications, roads, and siege engines. These skills allowed the Romans to prepare for long campaigns and sieges, ensuring that their army could sustain itself even in hostile environments. This focus on infrastructure and logistics made the Roman army not just a fighting force but also a tool for expansion and control. Section 2. Roman martial arts and gladiatorial influence. While the Romans did not have formalized martial arts in the way we think of them today, their combat training encompassed a variety of techniques that resemble what we now consider martial arts. Roman soldiers were well versed in close-quarters combat, where shield bashing, sword thrusting, and grappling played central roles. The emphasis was on practical techniques that would be effective on the battlefield. Interestingly, gladiatorial combat had a strong influence on the soldiers' martial training. Gladiators were often experts in different types of weaponry and combat styles, and Roman soldiers would observe these fighters to learn new techniques. Some soldiers even trained with gladiators in ludi, gladiator schools, picking up skills that could later be applied in real warfare. These schools provided soldiers with exposure to one-on-one combat scenarios, which improved their adaptability during engagements with a variety of enemies. Another important aspect was the pugio, the Roman dagger. It was often used in emergency situations during close combat, and soldiers were trained to use this small weapon in grappling or life or death situations where they could not rely on their sword. This section expands on the martial influence within the Roman army and highlights how soldiers adapted gladiatorial techniques for practical military use, blending unarmed combat with weapons training for versatility in warfare. Section 3. The discipline of Roman formations and strategy. Roman soldiers were drilled extensively in the use of formations, which were the cornerstone of their battlefield success. The testudo or tortoise formation was perhaps the most famous, where soldiers locked their shields together on all sides and above, creating a moving fortress that was almost impervious to arrows and light projectiles. This formation allowed Roman forces to advance slowly but steadily toward enemy lines, protecting them from ranged attacks until they were ready to engage in close combat. Another key formation was the maniple, which allowed for greater flexibility in battle than the earlier phalanx formations borrowed from the Greeks. The manipular formation divided the legion into smaller, more agile units capable of responding to the fluid nature of combat. These units could break away, flank, or reorganize mid-battle, making the Roman army more adaptable than their adversaries. The cohort system that replaced the manipular formation further refined the Roman military's tactical capabilities. This formation emphasized combined arms tactics, where heavy infantry, archers, cavalry, and light infantry could coordinate seamlessly, maximizing their strengths and covering each other's weaknesses. This section dives deeper into the effectiveness of Roman battlefield strategies and explains how the soldiers' ability to work together in intricate formations made him virtually unbeatable in head-to-head confrontations. Section 4. Weapons of the Roman soldier. The arsenal of the Roman soldier was designed for efficiency, durability, and effectiveness in combat. The gladius was the primary weapon of the Roman infantry. This short, double-edged sword was perfect for thrusting and stabbing in close combat, particularly when the soldiers fought in tight formations. The gladius allowed for quick, lethal strikes, often aimed at the midsection of an opponent, causing significant internal damage. The pilum, a type of heavy javelin, was another important weapon in the Roman arsenal. Unlike traditional spears, the pilum was designed to bend or break upon impact, rendering enemy shields useless and preventing them from being thrown back. Roman soldiers would hurl these javelins at their enemies before closing in for melee combat. The pilum's unique construction made it a devastating opening salvo in any engagement, designed to disrupt enemy lines before the sword came into play. The scutum, a large rectangular shield, was not only a defensive tool but also an offensive weapon. Soldiers used the scutum to shove and batter enemies, creating openings for thrusts with the gladius. The shield's large surface area provided significant protection against projectiles and melee attacks, making it an essential component of the Roman infantryman's kit. In addition to these primary weapons, Roman soldiers also carried daggers, pugio, for close-quarter combat, lances, for cavalry, and spears, asta, which were used for both throwing and thrusting. Roman military engineers also developed larger weapons, including siege engines like the ballista, which fired large bolts, and the onager, a type of catapult used to hurl heavy stones at enemy fortifications. This section delves into the range of weapons used by Roman soldiers, explaining how each piece of equipment had a specific role in both individual and collective combat. Section 5. Roman cavalry and auxiliary troops. Although the Roman military was renowned for its infantry, cavalry played a crucial supporting role. Roman cavalry was often drawn from the auxiliary troops of conquered territories, particularly from regions with strong mounted traditions such as Gaul, Spain, and North Africa. These auxiliary forces were highly valued for their speed, mobility, and ability to scout and flank enemy positions. Cavalry units were typically armed with longer spatha swords, lances, and small shields, allowing them to engage enemies in more open, mobile combat. Roman cavalry tactics emphasized swift strikes and flanking maneuvers to disrupt enemy lines, supporting the heavier infantry from the sides. The auxiliary forces were not just limited to cavalry. These non-Roman units often brought specialized skills, such as archery, javelin throwing, or light infantry tactics. Many of these troops hailed from the fringes of the Roman Empire and brought with them unique weapons and combat styles that the Romans incorporated into their military strategy. In this section, we explore the importance of cavalry and auxiliary forces within the Roman military, highlighting how these troops provided flexibility and diversity that strengthened the overall effectiveness of Roman campaigns. Section 6. Roman siege warfare. Engineering the conquest. One of the most remarkable aspects of Roman military prowess was their ability to lay siege to even the most well-fortified cities. Roman engineers were masters at constructing siege towers, rams, and other devices to breach walls and overwhelm defenders. Their use of the ballista, which fired large arrows or stones, and the onager, a powerful catapult, could reduce enemy walls to rubble and scatter defenders. Romans also employed elaborate siege tactics, such as building ramps or tunnels to undermine enemy fortifications. When direct assault was not possible, Roman forces would surround a city, cutting off supplies and waiting until starvation forced a surrender. Their ability to adapt to different siege scenarios and their use of advanced machinery made them feared by their enemies. This section offers an in-depth look at the Roman Empire's mastery of siege warfare, focusing on the advanced technology and engineering skills that allowed them to dominate even in prolonged sieges. Conclusion section. The Roman Empire's success on the battlefield was no accident. Their mastery of combat techniques, innovative weaponry, disciplined formations, and siege tactics made them one of the most formidable military forces in history. From the gladiatorial arenas to the open battlefields of Europe, the Roman martial arts and combat methods set the standard for warfare for centuries. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of the Roman Empire's military prowess. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and share this video with anyone interested in martial history or the glory of ancient warfare. Stay tuned for more deep dives into the martial arts of history, only here on Martial Mastery Media.